I got my Akai MPC Live 2. Akai MPC Live 2. We're going to make a simple beat. Just something simple. Probably even just 4 tracks. So much going on in the world every day. Let's just be blessed to make music, man. What's going on, guys? It's your brother Charles, better known as O.T.G. I'm here with my Akai MPC Live 2. I'm just loading up a random drum kit. We're going to try out this Native Instruments, one of these Native Instruments kits. You know, we're going to check out what we got. We're going to make do with what we got. The MPC Live 2, you know, with the speaker, with the speaker, with the battery, you know, the larger pads, you know, it's really the full deal. I really like the MPC 1, but the Live 2 really shines with MPC 3. And the reason why I'm talking about that is just because they say there's a new MPC in the woodwork, which would kind of lead to, you know, maybe an end of an era with these MPCs. And for me, I think that's all good. Like when I'm using my MPC, there's so many different places and different things that we don't really get to. You know, things that we don't try. Like right now, I'm going to just shift my hi-hats. Try different effects. I'm sorry that the camera is shaking. You know, I'm still, you know, different things are working out. My life is changing rapidly, and I'm still trying to adapt to all the changes while making new changes. But along the way, we're going to make music and we're going to remain blessed. You know, I'm thankful for you guys. You guys keep me on point while everything is kind of going funky and going crazy. But that's part of what I wanted to talk about with this MPC, you know, because sometimes with your machinery or with whatever gear you have, I have all kinds of gear. You know, you might want the limitations, you might need to focus, it might push your creativity, it might do all those things. But then you have the machines like this Live 2 or the MPC in general now, where now it's such a full-fledged everything. You know, right now we're going to go in and add a singular. I might add the flex beat player to these hi-hats. You know, and then we could go in here and add, there's all kinds of presets and different ways to edit and add different effects. You know, this just lends to the fullness of the Live 2 and just the MPC ecosystem. And how much they're building it out. And, you know, I know there's all those guys who have complaints about what it can do, time signatures and things of that nature. But right now, I'm really focusing on the positives of all the things that it can do. And if you spend the time and just try those things, you know, how far that could take you and open up different doors. You know, we mess with the dry wet, we turn on the quantize, and I still may do more to these hi-hats, but the crazy thing is that we can, you know what I mean? It comes with so many different effects and different things that you 100% could make $1 million beat out of your Live 2. You can come up with full arrangements, there's synthesizers in here, like you could just purchase the synthesizers, build your drum kits, and never have to record a sample in. You could never purchase the synths and just sample in and really get it done. You know, from the audio editing capabilities, I know all the perks that people want, but the necessities are there. Would it be great to have a spectral EQ? Yeah. But if you don't have one, is it important to have an EQ where you can hear and actually hear the audible difference? Yes. You know, the air plugins come from Pro Tools, and the reliability of Pro Tools mixing plugins are second to none. In 2025, are there different options of things that make it easier? Yes. But think about having your MPC and all 4 Q links are linked to every aspect of, excuse me, every aspect of your experience, every knob, everything can be operated from the Q links, you know. Without using the keyboard, we have these chord progressions. So one, you guys could get all of these chord progressions. You could get a bunch of drum kits. You could get access to my MPC masterclass. All of these things come with lifetime updates. The Smackers kit, all of this stuff you could get from the Gumroad link below. This is how you could support the channel. If you notice that I changed the channel's name from 365 O.T.G to just my real name, no gimmicks, Charles Paris Music, you know, that's my real name for those that didn't know. I felt like it was a necessary turn at 45. I've done management, I've done all kinds of things, you know what I mean? And I'm still O.T.G to the world that knows me, but I also do so much other business that, you know, I decided I want most of my creations and things to come back to my government name, not an acronym or something that somebody else could call themselves or whatever the case could be. So, you know, I definitely appreciate all of you guys who definitely support my channel, who watch the videos all the way through. You know, for the people who donate at OTG, at Cash App, for the people who buy and purchase regularly from the Gumroad link, you know, for the people who are at the Patreon, the people who are members. I appreciate all of you guys, and I'm thankful. And it's because of your support that I'm also going to build my first actual studio. Recent changes in my life have opened up where it looks like I'll have a lot of extra free time. And you know, as men, we'll get in trouble if we don't focus, you know. So one of the things that I'm going to do is actually probably open a brick and mortar studio / media center / podcast studio. I have most of the gear, so my goal is to try to get that started as soon as possible, at least by the end of the year. So anything that you donate, help watching the video, liking the video, all of those things will help towards that goal. Right now, I've loaded up Sub Factory. We have 2 plugins, 1 drum kit. But back to what I was saying about the reliability of these MPCs. So it doesn't matter if you have the Key 37, the Live 2, the Key 61, the MPC X, the XSE, probably even the original Live, 1 Plus. I feel like from 2017 till 2025, Akai has delivered some great machines, and they have delivered updates consistently that have built these machines into powerhouses. If I was to compare the Live 2 or the MPC in general to the SP, they're in 2 different categories. If I was to compare the MPC to the OP1 or the KO2 or the Verse Lab or any of these other machines, it's kind of in a place of its own. You know, the other machines have each of their things, but you might have deeper menu diving, surface menu diving to get to surface things. Where in this MPC, you can see it might be information overload. Everything's on the front screen. And, you know, now menu diving on something like the MPC could take you to depths that you would never go because the top level is already mapped out and ready for you via the Q links most of the time. So it's something like thinking of 4 banks of Q links right here on the OPX, right? Now everything you see on your screen you could utilize. Or let's say I go to the Mini D. You know, I've never owned a Moog, but you know, this gives me the opportunity to emulate one right out of my MPC. And it gives me capabilities over all of the different aspects to really take a preset and turn this preset into my own sound, if that's what I wanted to do. Or to just build off of the preset. So what I wanted to say to you guys is, you know, just like I would say with your plugins, there's a new MPC coming, there's new stuff coming. That doesn't mean what you got is outdated. That doesn't mean the way that you know how to do things is outdated. You might just have to add some updates or some upgrades. Now, as far as these MPCs, at one point in time, you're going to have to decide which MPC are you going to treat like the 2500 or like the MPC 60 or the 3000 or the 4000, because eventually these MPCs will be looked at like one of those 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later even. You know, it's been a lot of years since some of those models were released. And a couple years from now, these might be outdated. The firmware might be stuck at MPC 3, but they're on MPC 5.0 now. And, you know, you got to upgrade your MPC to access and get more access to more memory or a bigger screen or more Q links or faster processing or all of these different things, you know. So big shouts out to Akai. You know, they're probably going to release this MPC3 software soon. And when you think about them releasing the software, now you think about all the years that adds to these older MPCs as they shifted to the new generation. And a lot of the stuff is just like, thank you. They don't have to do it. All right, so we got our 4 tracks together. This is how a lot of the videos will go in the future. I'll have some where I'm teaching you, but some of them you could just watch the process. You can see I've spent some time getting the screen a lot cleaner, a lot better, so you can see it. You know, it's taken some time. It's been a process, and I'm thankful for all of you guys. We're going to keep this momentum going. One of the things I was talking to one of my friends about as we wrap this up is make sure that you're in your track edit and project edit screen on your drum programs. You know, I don't think people utilize the drum effects enough. I don't think people know that the first end has a reverb and the second has a delay. I don't think people actually know how far in depth this goes, from LFOs to modulation, you know, utilizing your key groups and having advanced key groups. I doubt people have went through all of their effects to actually try and see what the effects are. Now with being able to move effects and switch them up and down, you know, you can move them like my friend said, musical chairs, until you get an effects chain that works right for you. You know, but that track edit and utilizing your automation is very important. You know, I think people should spend time and get used to their menus and understand their menus, understand event muting versus audio muting. You know, event muting lets one of the last event play out before it mutes, and audio muting is just traditional on-off muting. Understanding list edit a lot better. You know, so over the next couple weeks, we'll deep dive more into it, just like me showing you how to nudge your hi-hats over to put them in that weird pocket, or utilizing something like flex beat and then half speed on the hi-hats to give that weird sound of the hi-hats that we're utilizing now. Utilizing your drum effects to take these random drum kits and quiet drums and really pump them up. You know, utilizing your automation to get a basic arrangement down, so that way you can start to understand and build and see how the beat goes together. So there's all kinds of things that we're going to start to cover over these next couple weeks and videos. My plan is to slow everything way down, more Ableton videos, more videos on all the gear, and going further in depth with the gear, because it looks like all new models are about to come, which means I'm locked in on these. So hopefully you're locked in on the channel. Check out everything I have on the Gumroad, and inshallah you learn something. Hopefully you make some music, you find motivation, you're blessed. I hope your families are okay and you're okay. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.